prophetic etiquette, drinking and eating, mentioning the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in its beginning and thanking Him by its end, and not to drink once. You may drink twice or thrice. You take two sips or 3 sips. That is the sunnah. 3 is best, yet 1 is disliked. And also to use the right hand. We come to a very important issue, which is whether to drink standing or sitting down. It is highly recommended to drink while sitting down. There is some hadith that the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever drinks while standing, let him vomit or throw up whatever he drank. Yet, the Prophet ﷺ was observed by his companions drinking while standing, drinking from Zamzam water while standing. To combine between all these hadith references, the scholars said that the Prophet ﷺ wanted to lift the burden from his ummah. Meaning, yes, it is highly recommended to drink while sitting down and eat while sitting down. Yet, it is permissible to drink while still standing up. So the preferability and what's really recommended is to sit down while drinking. And by the way, health-wise, it is proven that it is much healthier to drink while sitting down. And also not to blow from your breath into the vessel which you're drinking from, whether it is soup or a glass, or
not exhale,
not exhale in it, because that carries germs, and the Prophet ﷺ prohibited that. Also, it is recommended not to drink from the jug or from the main container, but to pour in another one. There were reasons why the Prophet ﷺ said that in the beginning. They used to have a leather sack which contains a drink. Maybe it contains an insect or whatever. So when you pour it, in addition to it does not offend any person who drinks after you. Guess what? These etiquette were taught to us by the Prophet ﷺ more than 1400 years ago. When people in the West did not know how to eat nor drink. When people in the West had no etiquette whatsoever. Here is the Prophet ﷺ teaching the entire humanity how to eat and drink. And now, if you allow me, I will take just the second question of the last sister's questions to elaborate on it, because it is related to this.
But she said
concerning eating.
With the, she's talking about drinking with the right hand. We know it's from the Sunnah, she said. No. And it's actually, you have to do that. She said, but it's not etiquette to do that when you're outside sometimes.
This is exactly why I wanted to comment on that. Concerning the etiquette in eating in restaurants. I enjoy demonstrating the prophetic etiquette in eating or drinking in public restaurants in America, in Europe, everywhere I go. I enjoy that because I look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's the one who concerns me. I'm only concerned about Him. I'm only concerned about the love of Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I know that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam taught even young kids. Umar, the son of Abu Salama, once was eating with the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He adopted him. He was eating, so he said, Ya ghulam. He taught him nicely and said, Ya ghulam, Sammillah, say Bismillah. And the Prophet ﷺ said in one hadith, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَرْضَى عَنِ الْعَبْدِ أَنْ يَأْكُلَ اللُّقْمَةَ أَوْ يَشْرَبَ الشَّرْبَةَ فَيَحْمَدَهُ عَلَيْهَا. So beautiful that if you just eat one bite or you take a sip of drink, then you say, Alhamdulillah, Allah is pleased with you. Allah is happy. Allah is certainly pleased with you for just thanking Him for a sip or a drink or of a drink or a bite of any food. Ya ghulam sammillah wa kul bi yaminik, and use your right hand in eating. Wa kul mimma yalik, and eat right from in front of you. They used to eat from one big vessel. So maybe the meat is somewhere else, and you keep escorting, looking for, searching for the meat, or eat from here and from there. He taught him the etiquette. And when was an adult, was eating by his left hand. This hadith is the gift to those who think that the West have the etiquette and we have to appear as people with etiquette in restaurants and before our guests and before non-Muslims. That somebody was eating by his left hand. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, eat by your right hand. He said, I can't. So he instructed him again and again, 3 times. And after that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, La istata'at. When he kept saying, La astati'a, La astati'a, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, that's a prayer against him, and he was never able to use it afterward, indicating that this is serious. Do you think that etiquette means that whether you decide to do it or not, it's up to you? Let me share with you a few things. Many Muslims, for instance, do not know the traditions of the pure nature. What are the traditions of the pure nature? The Prophet ﷺ counted amongst them, for instance, keeping the beard, trimming the mustache or shaving the mustache, and shaving or removing the underarm hair, the armpits, and the pubic hair. That is a must. The Prophet ﷺ allowed maximum period 40 days to remove this hair. Some people, when I instruct them during the Hajj step by step, or at Hajj, and I say you have to remove this, people, for instance, those who are coming from Europe, they think it's strange. And from the States, they go by era and by area. So sometimes, in this locality, they have the tradition or the fashion not to shave. So Muslims go with the flow. And if they change and now they decide to shave, they go with the flow. No, we have our own tradition, the prophetic tradition, which we do that based on following the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ, and that means everything in our life should be interpreted and translated into worship. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed His Prophet ﷺ by the end of Surah Al-An'am to say, and to act upon this statement, قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ لَا شَرِيكَ لَهُ وَبِذَلِكَ أُمِرْتُ وَأَنَا أَوَّلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. What does it mean? Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, only Muhammad and his followers, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي. Say what? Every believer should say what? Indeed, my prayers, salati, wa nusuki, and my sacrifice, wa mahyaya, not only the sacrifice and the prayers, but also my life and my death. All of that belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He controls everything in my life. And I'm only here to comply with His commands and with the teachings of His Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَبِذَلِكَ أُمِرْتُ. And I was commanded to do that. So basically, eating and drinking and even embracing one's spouse and using the bathroom. Once a Jew met with Salman al-Farisi and said, your religion is amazing. He said, in what sense? He said, it taught you everything. It taught you how to do everything in life. He said, certainly. It even taught us how to answer the call of nature, how to urinate and how to defecate and how to clean up afterward. That is the Islamic etiquette, which if we as Muslims follow, that is the best way to demonstrate our belonging to this deen and clarify our identity and to be proud of whom we are. But if we dissolve in other societies and we say, I'm embarrassed because people would think that I don't know etiquette, I don't care about people, because they're not going to give me any rewards. I don't care about that. I enjoy spreading my prayer rug on the highway, people going back and forth, or at the airport, and I pray. Once I decided to do that, and it was post-September the 11th. And guess what? Somebody came and joined me and he prayed. So we started Jama'ah. Why? Because there was somebody who's reluctant to pray. You take the initiative. الدَّالُّ عَلَى الْخَيْرِ لَهُ أَجْرُ فَاعِلِهِ. One who guides others to something which is righteous and good shall reserve and get also the same reward of his, without diminishing the reward of either one of them. Let's be proud of whom we are. Let's be proud of our religion. إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الْإِسْلَامِ. The only religion that is considered, that is valid before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is Islam. You should not have any doubt that everything that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam instructed us to do is from Allah. وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. Do we have to wait for a scientific research or a medical discovery to say, well, it is better to eat by your right hand? Once I watched on a very prominent news channel the news that the scientific researchers came to the conclusion that wearing the golden ring for men affects their potency and it decreases that. I laughed and I said, well, whether that was proven or not, I don't care, because as a Muslim I will never wear a golden ring. Why? Because And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam prohibited that for the men of his ummah. He held in his hand one gold, in one hand gold, and in the other hand the silk, and said, these two, هَذَانِ حَرَامًا, هَذَانِ, these two items are prohibited for the men of my ummah, while they are allowed for women. So if you decide to wear a gold ring and you're a man, you decide to choose to be one of two, either to disobey the Prophet ﷺ, or maybe you're not one of the men, because it's only allowed for women in Islam. Accordingly, it's not just about eating by your right hand, or drinking by your right hand, or doing things according to what the Prophet ﷺ said. Islam is a whole, and nothing, not a single part of it is separable from this entire body of Islam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh.